everyone. We are back. We're kind of halfway through at this point, so pat yourselves on the back. You made it through the first half. Those of you who are in Europe, I hope you're waking up. And those of you who are in America and in some of those time zones where it's the middle of the night, I'm very hopeful that you are still awake and with us, because it's great what we've had up to now, but I'm so stoked for what we still have yet to come. There's so much goodness. Anyway, I am joined right now by Gabi Braga. Gabi works as our senior UX, user experience designer in the content team. So her role is to understand author and customer needs so that she can help and the team can help authors work more efficiently. Her number one goal for this year is to connect authors with customer needs. Gabi has a background in human-computer interaction. Yes, that is a thing. And she'll be talking to you today about creative trends and customer needs. In her presentation, Gabi's going to walk you through some creative trends for this year and customer requests across multiple content types, and how you can take those learnings back to create content that customers want. We won't have time for questions at the end of Gabi's presentation. However, Gabi will be available to take any questions during the live Q&A at the end of the day. So please ensure you make a note that your question is for Gabi when you're posting it in that Q&A channel or session, I guess. Thank you, Gabi. Have fun.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here to share some of the trends. And if you hadn't recognized me yet, I'm the one spamming you all to also get in touch with us on the Author Insights survey. So make sure that you drop your thoughts in there too, so we can work on them. So we'll be taking these learnings back and we'll be doing our best to get back to you. So make sure that you give us your feedback while we go through the conference. And as James mentioned, I'll be talking to you today about creative trends for 2020. So every year at Envato, we try to identify how creative trends will impact our environment and change the way that users consume digital goods. So just to give you a bit more context behind the research that we have done to get to this, the insights that we'll be walking you through today is actually a combination of a lot of work. So our content specialists, our content insights team, our author engagement team, and the research team have put together their top trend predictions and the main gaps in search today, and all of them are basically based on customer demand and industry observations. So starting with the creative trends for 2020, there is a set of predictions put together by our content specialists and the author engagement team specifically, and it's basically based on the moves that we see in the industry and what's happening in the creative world around the globe. Then we'll also be sharing some insights that are coming from customer search trends and purchases from the past year that our content insights team have been monitoring quite carefully. So it's basically compiling learnings from customer activities, both from market and elements. And last but not least, some of these insights are also coming from customer requests that our user experience team has been gathering from our customer base. So this is basically a survey that is currently available on Elements, where users can let us know if they couldn't find something they were looking for. We'll be referring to this on the presentation today as customer requests. And by observing customer behavior and working with their feedback, we are hoping to get a better understanding of what customers are looking for and how it could unlock potential opportunities that will hopefully inspire the work that you're doing down the road. And starting with some learnings from the customer requests, just to give you an idea, in the past 6 months, we have looked at something around 9,000 requests from users who couldn't find what they were looking for. So there was a lot in there for us to work with, and a lot of opportunities that we can take as inspiration. Requests for real, diverse, geo-specific content has been a really common pattern across multiple content types. So from fonts that include foreign characters to photos that are featuring people that look really Asian. We like to say that as classic blue is the color of the year, diversity is definitely the key word. So like Sunny mentioned in her presentation earlier today, we have customers like Tito from South America who works with clients from Brazil and the USA. As he serves different markets, He needs content that would be applicable and real and feel real for both of them. So we need to keep those use cases in mind. And then building on what James said as well, how can we put ourselves in the user's shoes to understand and imagine scenarios like this? How can we do research to incorporate those learnings into the work that you are doing and the content that you're creating today? Another key takeaway for us was that one size does not fit all, not anymore. Customers want to feel represented and need their customers to feel represented as well. So we need to focus on diversity of regions, cultures, gender, and ethnicity, not one or another. Another key learning for us, which was actually slightly surprising, at least for me, was that even though graphic and web templates are highly customizable, some users are looking for niche templates that suit their immediate needs and require less customization. So going back to the customer profiles that Suni mentioned earlier, think about customers like Francis who just want to be able to get something done as quickly as possible. They often don't even have time to customize a template. Or imagining a different scenario, imagine a dentist that is putting a presentation together and has no design expertise at all to understand that a minimalist theme will actually have the look and feel that he's looking for. These are the type of users that will search for things like dentist presentation, medical presentations, healthcare things, etc. But the mindset that you can turn a generic template into a dentist-related template is not quite there yet. So he needs something that is ready to go. And let's jump into visual trends now. I want you to keep in mind that these visual trends are basically applicable to photos, stock footage, graphics, graphic templates, video templates as well. But also keep an open mind if you're creating web templates or mobile applications that somehow require look and feel, as some of these insights are definitely applicable to those type of items as well. So starting with illustrations for web, it has been trending since last year. It's not something extremely new that we haven't seen yet. But according to Kate McInnes, our content specialist for graphics, it will definitely stick around for a little longer. The main difference that we can expect for this year is that it should have a lot more personality and it should bring some interesting and playful metaphors from now on. So we can expect those characters to be designed for diversity and to really reinforce that diversity that we have been talking about since the beginning of the presentation. We can also expect to see an invasion of brutalist style. So with really bold colors and texture, brutalist can almost be defined as a anti-design movement that carefully pushes the boundaries and can even be perceived as unfinished. But nothing makes more of an impact than really like bold colors with minimal but strong typography. And we can expect to see those vibrant colors more often, giving designs that younger and trendier look and feel. On the augmented reality side of things, Adobe just announced its new app, Eero, and it's actually the first app that doesn't really require technical knowledge for basic creations and basic projects. So with no coding skills needed, we can expect it will make augmented reality a lot more accessible and more people will start to experiment with that, which could become an interesting opportunity for us. In the video space specifically, we can see a huge demand for vertical video. Vertical video templates are also, on average, selling around 4 times faster than other video templates. So with the global lockdown and the spiking use in social media tools like Instagram, IGTV, Facebook, TikTok was one of the predictions from last year, by the way, and it's definitely growing quite rapidly these days. So we can expect that these tools will continue to grow. So there's a lot of space for vertical video templates and vertical video in general. We can also see gradients and fluid animations coming into the game. So gradients fit really nicely into that retro 80s cyberpunk theme that has been trending since last year as well. And we can see a movement of fluid animations getting a lot more traction too. As I mentioned earlier, buyers want to relate to the items they are using and feel represented. So authenticity and people power will continue to be a trend in high demand for a while. So the days of generic, cheesy, or obvious visuals are coming to an end. Customers now are demanding more authentic, genuine material that is beautiful and still high quality, but believable. So we need to make it real, and we need to make it inclusive as well. So it's important to remember that these insights are applicable to visuals in general, not only to photos or footage, as many could assume. And I think this customer quote defines it really, really well. I can't find vector drawings of people of all races. In general, we struggle to find non-white people of all classes. The photography section is getting better, but we need more people who are not Caucasian, especially in vectors. And from users who requested a specific theme or season that they couldn't find, we can see trending requests for business, science and medicine items, education, and religion. And as they have been the most requested across all the visual content types, it's also applicable to photos, graphics, and footage and video templates, as I mentioned earlier. If you are wondering if the requests for science and medical items are an effect of the pandemic, the short answer is actually no. We have seen requests for science and medicine items trending since December last year, but we did see an increase in requests for COVID-19 items related with things like vectors of people washing their hands or people coughing or keep your distance, etc. So there's definitely some extra demand on that space, but it's been trending since last year. And just out of curiosity, COVID-related requests were also particularly popular for visual items in general as well, including graphics, graphic templates, photos, stock video, and video templates. I won't get too deep into web trends and requests because Andrew obviously just did a really awesome walkthrough and gave you a lot to work with. But I do want to reinforce that on the code space, we'll continue to see demand for items that are optimized for privacy and GDPR, mobile app items, and items that are compatible with Flutter. On the web space, we can expect to see animations and interactions used a little bit more carefully than last year, where it could have been a little bit overused. And we can also expect to see more large images being applied to the pages, to the web pages. So we talked a little bit about how illustrations for web are a big deal this year, and we can expect large images to be put in place if illustrations are not used. And according to Stephen, our content specialist for web, it's also a time where we can all be creative and break the rules. So as long as it doesn't impact accessibility and usability, there's definitely space to break that grid and go crazy with your web designs. And following the same trends on the requests for visual items, user requests for business themes also dominated the web and code requests. And let's jump into music trends and requests now. So according to the predictions from Adrian Gardner, our content specialist for audio, tech, audio, sports, and corporate are still the main projects that will always require music and will be constantly trending. So whether it's upbeat or drummy jazz, we often go back to the needs for music for the specific projects. So it's more about finding a great fit for the visual requirements of the projects, if that makes sense. As an example, sports is always a distraction for everyone and will always be a big thing. And the defining sound of sport is energy. So you should be asking yourself, what type of songs could match a sports-related project? When it comes to corporate, not many corporate projects get done without the optimistic sound of uplifting melodies, motivational beats, etc. So even though corporate as a niche can feel slightly boring and overcrowded, it is in high demand and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. When it comes to customer requests, the majority of users were looking for a song that conveys a particular mood or emotion. So it's really common to see requests for music that matches a scenario or action, such as songs for stairs climbing or good music for hiking through the forest, or I need a music for a makeup vlog. So again, how can your song match the visual needs of these projects? And how can you articulate the emotion through your titles and tags so users can actually find you while they're looking for that particular mood for their projects? And coming second, user requests often included references from something else they have seen in the media, particularly highlighting very specific movie examples with references such as Austin Powers or The Great Gatsby. So it was really, really clear that users get industry references for inspiration when they are looking for music for their projects. And here's a customer quote that also represents it really well. I'm looking for a song similar to the Star Wars melody, something that inspires me to explore, look for something, be brave, oriented to kids between 6 and 12 years old. Quite specific, right? But it goes without saying, make sure to review the intellectual property guidelines if you're creating items inspired in the industry so they can actually be approved and published to end users. Wrapping up, I want you to leave this presentation with the feeling that there are a lot of surprising, underserved items on Elements and Market. Can your portfolio address their needs? How can you take those gaps and trends as an opportunity to create something new that users are looking for? And as you probably noticed, the customer requests we have been sharing are extremely specific. We are working hard behind the scenes to identify patterns and priorities so it gets easier for you to understand what customers are looking for. And we haven't got there yet. We are definitely working hard to improve how we provide that information to you. But when it comes to looking through the data and their specific needs, working on something really specific might also unlock your next successful niche. So why not? And last but not least, how can you take all these customer requests, insights, and industry trends and add your own touch to it? What do you bring to the table? Don't be afraid to make your items special and unique, and use these trends as a starting point and see where it takes you. But don't forget that your own style and techniques is what makes your items truly special. So go for it. Be brave. And you'll probably be drowning in information today, and maybe you haven't found all these insights before. So I want to make sure that you know where to go to find these awesome resources later, and we'll continue to work to keep them up to date and fresh for you. So they can be found in our author hub on community.envato.com, but I will also be sharing specific links for each on the chat in a few minutes to make sure that you can find them and you can use that down the road. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for having me today, and I hope you got some value out of these insights. Thank you.